But oftentimes in institutions where there is like the great possibility for mistrust, it's not a great thing. So do we have a policy on?
I'm not aware of a specific policy on that particular issue, although I would say we would certainly refer to our privacy policy and the general department rules and procedures, and certainly, you know, whatever the state has said as well. And we would seek additional legal guidance. That's why we have our full-time attorney dedicated to work with us on those issues, if those issues ever did come up.
Thank you. I have more questions, but I think I will submit them for the Mr. Chair. I will submit them to you, and hopefully we'll be able to get that. I want to just thank all of you for your time. It's incredibly important that we get this right and that we understand how this money is being used. This is not for the purpose of asking questions to take up anyone's time. I know you all would prefer to probably be someone else, but we have an obligation and a duty to do more than just wag our fingers and say, if you're doing this, that's bad, stop doing it. There's no reason to believe, we have no reason to believe that that's what would happen.
Counselor, we welcome all your questions, and
yes.
we want to be transparent also. We want to be upfront and on board. So we value the questions that you asked us. Thank you.
Thank you. And that transparency, it requires information and it requires data sharing, because I don't have the trust just by saying, if I were to say to you, stop doing something, to believe that you'll stop doing it. A lot of these questions are rooted as a Black woman who grew up in Mattapan and Hyde Park. When I got a call 10 years ago, I will never forget it, from my younger cousin walking down Westmore Road, Wellington Hill Avenue in Mattapan, great kid, darker skin than me, on his way to school, braids in his hair, bubble jacket, dapping up his friend. And he said, every day I do this and the cops just stare at me and I don't know why, and it makes me feel so bad. We have an obligation. There's no reason why our kids, just by the virtue of where they live, right, which maybe you have a prevalence of violence and have a prevalence of gang-related activity that is related to structural poverty, they should feel like that. They should feel that they're under suspicion, and I think that's what my questions, at least, I can't speak for my colleagues, that's what my questions are grounded in. It's grounded in making sure, how do we prevent that feeling if it's unnecessary and if it's over-identifying people who don't belong in a database. And I believe they're well-founded, and others have been asking these questions. And so that's, I think that this is the first of many conversations that we need to have. Again, I wish Isaac Yablo was here, because I think that is an important community voice to be here, who is part of the administration. But I just want to say thank you for indulging us, and thank you to members of the public for giving up their day to also be here and also hold us accountable.
Council, we just want to put it out there as well that anybody, we invite you to come up to the BRIC and we'll give you a full breakdown. We've done it for some of your other colleagues, so anytime we are an open door.
Can I ask, is that open door policy also for members of the public? Because I think
we have it's sensitive, some sensitive material, so we'd have to be careful. We have to be careful on some things who come up there.
So is that no, members of the public don't have that same access?
There are things that are there, like we don't. I would be, and I'm the superintendent in charge of the BRIC, man. I would be kind of cautious in terms of, like we have to vet someone and stuff like that. We have no problem with the city council, anyone in government that works with us in partnership to come up there and transparent. But in terms of the public, that opens us up. So if I allow someone to come up and another person wants to come, so we allowed him to come up. I think it does have sensitive material that's there. It's not in the open and stuff, but I would be cautious to do that, and I'm in charge of the BRIC. I would welcome anyone from the council, anyone in government that wants to work with us and stuff, and see how we are, because we want to be transparent. But in terms of allowing just Joe Citizen to come up to the BRIC, I think that it's a place where there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes and stuff like that that I would feel more comfortable. And there's a lot of civilians that work there. It's a lot of civilians more than officers. I don't want to put anyone in harm's way or something like that. That's my concern, man.
And I thank you. Community dialogue, community conversations, is that something that the BRIC has had, continues to have, open to happening with folks?
Yeah, and we'd like to do community policing in every community. Maybe that's something that we can do, and we can discuss like the BRIC does and stuff like that when we go into the communities. I think we'd be better served going into all the communities in the city and explaining them what we do and the resources that we have and how community policing benefits all our neighborhoods.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm specific about the BRIC, but I appreciate that. And just so you know, I've had conversations with police officers, everyone, about community leaders, advocates about these grants, because it's important to get those different perspectives. And so I hope that.
And don't get me wrong,
yes.
like the 12-point coalition, we have, if there's community leaders that, that represent their district and stuff, and you want them to come, I would have no problem with that. We could set that up. I just don't want to open it up to the public where everyone thinks, they want to go there, and then the wrong person might go there.
And we'll come out to community meetings as well, which we have done in the past. Several colleagues have asked us to come out to explain, get our message out, which we'd be happy to do.
Thank you.
Critical.
If I may, through the chair, just also on the question of community engagement with the BRIC specifically, bringing us back to how the conversation started this morning with the commissioner and his community ComStat program, which is what the majority of this earmark funding will be utilized to support. And as he mentioned, we've piloted the program in 3 different communities so far, Mattapan, Dorchester, and Jamaica Plain. And what we hear consistently from the members that participated in those meetings is they want more. They want it to be consistent. They want to have that regular opportunity to engage not just with their district officers, but also representatives from the BRIC to better understand the work that they're doing every day on a very neighborhood-focused level. And if I may, I just want to